Deep within the frozen, unforgiving tundra of Siberia, modern miners stumbled upon a discovery that completely shatters our understanding of prehistoric history. Buried beneath layers of solid permafrost was the perfectly preserved body of a woolly mammoth. But this wasn't just a skeleton. The skin, the fur, and even the blood vessels were entirely intact. When scientists opened the creature's stomach to analyze its last meal, they made a discovery that sent shockwaves through academia. Inside its digestive tract were the remnants of wild grasses, buttercups, and unchewed summer vegetation. The food was so fresh it hadn't even begun to decay. According to basic biology, stomach acid continues to break down food for hours after an animal dies. For this vegetation to remain perfectly preserved, the temperature of the entire region had to drop to an impossible, catastrophic negative 150 degrees Fahrenheit in an instant. This wasn't a slow, gradual onset of an ice age. This was a sudden, violent flash freeze. A massive planetary event that caught millions of giant beasts completely off guard, freezing them solid mid-bite. What could possibly cause the entire climate of Earth to invert in a matter of minutes? For decades, mainstream science has hidden the terrifying truth of the Pleistocene extinction. But the frozen giants are finally waking up to tell their story. The flash-frozen mammoths are not isolated incidents. They are the undeniable physical proof of a planetary shift so violent, modern science is terrified to admit it happened. When engineers first began thawing the frozen carcasses found in the Siberian permafrost, they were confronted with a forensic paradox. The cells of these animals were completely preserved. If the temperature had dropped slowly over hours or days, the water inside the cells would have expanded, forming jagged ice crystals that would have utterly shredded the delicate tissue. Instead, the bodies were preserved perfectly, suggesting a process similar to instant cryogenic freezing. According to physicist and researcher Dr. Emanuel Velikovsky, this phenomenon required a catastrophic and instant temperature drop to below negative 175 degrees Fahrenheit. This was not weather. This was an atmospheric collapse. The evidence points to a terrifying scenario, a massive cataclysm that stripped away Earth's insulating atmosphere for a fleeting moment, allowing the absolute zero temperature of deep space to reach the surface. Yet, you will not find this event recorded in any history textbook. For over a century, a dogma known as uniformitarianism has dominated academia. This doctrine insists that all geological and biological change on Earth happens slowly, gradually, and uniformly over millions of years. Catastrophism, the idea that advanced prehistoric civilizations and species were wiped out in a single day, is actively suppressed because it threatens the entire timeline of human evolution. But the frozen giants of Siberia stand as massive, silent witnesses against the lies of mainstream history. Their tissues were never consumed by bacteria. Their stomach contents were never digested, and their final moments are frozen in time, waiting for us to face the truth. If the standard academic timeline cannot explain how millions of massive creatures were cryogenically frozen mid-bite, what actually happened to our planet? To find the answer, we have to look outside the boundaries of traditional geology and into a terrifying theory that was fiercely defended by none other than Albert Einstein. It is called Earth Crustal Displacement. First proposed by Professor Charles Hapgood, this theory suggests that the outer, rigid crust of the Earth can occasionally slip and slide over the soft, molten inner layers, much like the loose skin of an orange moving over the fruit inside. When a crustal shift occurs, it doesn't take millions of years. It happens violently over the course of just a few days or even hours. Entire continents are forcefully displaced. Land masses that were once resting in warm, temperate zones are suddenly thrust thousands of miles away into the freezing polar circles. If Siberia was originally located much further south, it would have possessed the lush, green pastures required to feed millions of massive megafauna. The mammoths weren't living in an Arctic wasteland. They were living in a fertile, warm climate. But when the crust suddenly shifted, their entire world moved beneath their feet. Within hours, their warm paradise was violently pushed into the absolute zero temperatures of the geographic North Pole. As the sky collapsed and the oceans rushed over the moving continents, a catastrophic wind whipped across the land, dropping the temperature instantly. The mammoths didn't have time to run, adapt, or even finish chewing. They were frozen solid exactly where they stood, preserved as a permanent timestamp of the day the Earth broke. The frozen mammoths are not just artifacts of a prehistoric mystery. They are a prophecy. If the Earth's crust can violently shift once, plunging warm paradises into eternal ice within hours, there is no scientific law preventing it from happening again. Modern civilization rests precariously on a tectonic plate that could slide at any moment. While academia comfortably claims these events take millions of years, the forensic truth left in the Siberian permafrost proves otherwise. Millions of giant creatures were stopped mid-stride, their biology perfectly halted by a cosmic freeze. They didn't see the end coming. We have built our skyscrapers, cities, and digital networks assuming climate stability. But the frozen giants are a silent reminder that cataclysm is the rule of history, not the exception. The questions we must face are: when will the next cycle begin? And will our civilization leave behind a preservation as clear as the unchewed summer grass in the mammoth's stomach? Or will we be erased entirely by the absolute zero of the impending void? The clock is already ticking. You have the power to decide if you want to remain in the comfort of accepted history or join us in unlocking what has been hidden. Subscribe to Paradox History and see the world they don't want you to understand.